What's up, everybody? Just got off the Connecticut River, right back there, a little bit down that way. But I'm Sam Lane from Chester, Connecticut, and I'm signed with Red Models Management. A lot of people ask me how I got into modeling, and it was actually kind of a dare for my friends. While I was at college, a freshman year, a few of my really close friends told me that I could make some money doing it. I never believed them. I never really cared for photography, actually. I just thought it was something fun to do in my free time. And then over spring break, I had a few headshots taken of me. I went back home, had one of our friend photographers, and then I walked into New York with about 5 pretty good shots. Walked into 7 different agencies, got offers from a few of them. Red was the most excited about me, so there you go. Now I've ended up at Red. So I really haven't been doing it this long. At most a year. I got signed last July. I don't really like to say a year though, only because I really have only been modeling technically for about 5 months. The reason for that is over the summer I modeled for about two to 3 months, and then I went back to school, and there's really nothing in DC that has to do with photographers or anything. It's more I don't know, politically focused, so I couldn't really do much while I was in school. And then a few weeks ago I decided to go out to LA and shoot with a bunch of different guys. I've posted a few of those shots. They're coming out slowly, but we'll get there. And that's really when I started to get back into it a little bit. So I've been doing it for about 2 months, started posting Instagram more, reaching out to more photographers. The feedback's been great. So now I guess I've been doing it for about 5 months, technically a year, but not really. So this trip out to LA that I took about 2 weeks ago, I actually shot with 7 different people in about 3 days. It was exhausting. I was so tired by the end of that. I think I went home and slept for about 2 to 3 days straight. Maybe was up for about 6 hours each day. But anyway, I shot with 7 different guys. Scott Hoover, Darren Tieste, Irvin Rivera, and his assistant Phil, which I actually got the cover for Volant with. That was a great shoot. I loved it. Travis Lane and Jared Matthews. All of them were great guys. Really enjoyed shooting each one. They all had a different style. Really fun. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. It's hard to pick favorites just because everyone is so different from each other. But I really enjoyed shooting with Irvin and Phil just because they had really high-end clothes, high fashion, and I love shooting in high fashion. I think it's really fun. There's a lot you can do with it. You can get really creative with the lighting, and the outfits and how you mix and match them. So that was probably my favorite one. It was really long, probably 4 to 5 hours in the morning, and then I shot with Travis Lane later that day. Another great shoot, but man, that trip was worth it, and I'm still getting photos back, and just got featured in Huff Mag with Jared Matthews. Hopefully me and Scott will get something going, so I'm excited to see what comes back from it. So this summer I'm going to be working in the city. I've got an internship right around there, and I'm also going to be part-time modeling. It's going to be really busy. Super excited for it. Hopefully going to make some good money. I've got some really big plans for this summer. I'd really like to run with modeling, book some big gigs. I'm doing really well, but if we could just keep the train rolling and everything's falling into place, I could keep going with it. I'm a finance major at AU, American University in Washington, D.C., so it makes it a little difficult either to pursue my education or to keep going with modeling. So this summer I'm hoping I'm going to really succeed and book a lot of gigs, and then we'll keep going from there. I mean, already I have a few things set up with John Malinowski and Brian Jamie, so I'm excited to shoot with them, excited to see the ideas we come up with, and hopefully everything just keeps growing. I mean, I think this LA trip really set up everything nice. Got a feature in Huff Mag with Jared Matthews. Obviously you guys know that I got the cover. My Instagram has been blowing up. Thank you for all the support again. It's pretty cool when you have all your buddies from back home telling you, man, I didn't know you're at 20K. That this seems pretty legit. And I'm like, I didn't know either. It happened in 3 months. So thanks for everything, but I'm excited to be there in the summer and really see how this pans out. You know, modeling is something that I really enjoy to do, and hopefully keep going along with it. So like I said, I'm a finance major at American University. I'm currently a rising junior, just finished my sophomore year about 5 days ago. Really excited about that. Classes are starting to get harder, more challenging, making me think a lot. I enjoy all of them. But some of my goals for finance is probably being a portfolio manager. I've always found stocks fascinating. Just because in high school I started looking into them a little bit. I played a game called the stock market game where you got $100,000, like fake dollars, that you could invest in the market however you wanted to. And it was a 3-month time period that we got to do this. And I finished 18th in the state out of 2,000 or something like that. And ever since then, stocks have really interested me. So I've always thought portfolio management, wealth management has been kind of the road that I'd like to go down. Investment banking, not so much, just because it looks like a lot of numbers crunching, and it kind of is. I don't really want to be doing that. I find it much more intriguing when you get to be looking at the value of things in real time. So that's kind of where I'd like to go with my major right now. As a minor, I'm not quite sure, but I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to go with a computer science minor. It's going to be really difficult to pair with finance. I'm going to be studying a lot, but the reason is because technology just keeps advancing and advancing, and the more you know about it, the better advantage you're going to have over your components, and it also gives you a better comparative advantage against people when you're applying for a job. It looks really good on your resume. So that's kind of like where I'd like to be, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. Hopefully, if modeling doesn't work out for me. I mean, hopefully it will, but if not, it's nice to have something to fall back on. So now that you know, like, as I'm a model, what I do at AU, some of my hobbies, I have a lot of them. It's hard to keep up with, but one of the biggest things that I've been involved with is longboarding since freshman year. I don't know why. One of my really good friends got me into it, and I bought one, and here I am 6 years later doing it. For those of you who don't know, longboarding is kind of like skateboarding, except the board's a lot longer and you go down hills as fast as you can. So if I were to describe myself in a few words, one of the top ones would have to be adrenaline junkie, just based off of that. Anything that gets my heart racing, challenges me physically or mentally, really gets me excited. I love to push my comfort zone and make new boundaries for myself to later break through. That really excites me. Other things, I mean, aesthetic. I've always cared about what I looked like. Now that I'm growing my hair out, I mean, it's not at the best stage right now, but hopefully it'll look a little bit better later. Kind, friendly. I'd like to say humble is one of my biggest things that I like to carry myself by. Just because you can't forget where you came from. Everyone started as a beginner. When you start having a big head on your shoulder, that's when you go downhill. I want my friends to be real and not fake, and that's why I think it's very important to, as well as respect everyone, but to be humble, because you're going to find the right people, especially truthful if you're with them too. But that's a little bit more deep into my personality. But rather, back on the hobbies, adrenaline junkie is probably the top one. Besides longboarding, I try to surf as much as I can. I can't say I'm great at it. I wakeboard, I wake surf. I do that quite often. I like to skimboard, ski in the winter. I've never tried snowboarding, don't really care to. Skiing's better anyways, so sorry everyone that snowboards. I've been doing that since I was 2. My dad was a ski racer, so naturally I had to be a skier as well. Anything that gets me going fast, like I said before, always catches my interest. So something that I found challenging when I was younger was actually being social, as weird as that sounds, because right now I walk into a room and I just try to make friends with who's ever in there, no matter what. But when I was younger, I hated it. I always had to be with someone that I knew so they could introduce me to people. And then I started to put myself in situations where I had to be alone and had to introduce myself to others. And what this did was created confidence in myself and in talking to new people. And because of that, I think I've become a lot better person, because now if I don't know anyone or only know one person, it's very easy for me to go along and say, hi to just about anyone and be able to connect with them and actually have an actual conversation with them. So that was probably the biggest thing growing up. When I was in kindergarten and first grade, I didn't really like to talk to that many people. And by third, fourth grade, after putting myself in situations where I had to be friends with everybody and kind of get outside my comfort zone, like I said earlier, it really helped me advance, and it's still helping me today, networking for financing or for finance. And when I model and talking to new photographers, new stylists, it makes everything a whole lot easier. So just pushing my comfort zone in any way I can, that really has helped me in the long run. So that just about wraps it up for me. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Really, it means a lot. To have all the support from you is absolutely wonderful. I never really thought I could do this ever. Just about a year ago, I was one of those guys that was searching Instagram, would see people with a lot of followers and wonder how they did it, and now I'm starting to become one. So thank you for everything again. I hope you learned a little bit more about me and enjoyed learning that information. Hopefully I'll do a few more of these a little bit later, but thanks again for all the support. Have a good one, guys.